Hi everyone, I'm Tock Custom, and on this video we're going to show you how to set up and use the Brother PR1X Single Needle embroidery machine. Brother just sent me this and I'm really excited to show off some of its features and help you guys get started. The machine comes with your two adjustable mounting brackets, and these will hold the 4x4, 5x7, and 9x14 inch hoops, and that all comes with the machine. And then I've got some of my favorite optional hoops over here as well. The 4x4 inch clamp hoop is terrific, the 2x2 inch magnetic hoop is great, and the hat hoop is excellent for embroidering onto baseball hats. My personal favorite is the 9x14 inch magnetic hoop, which is great for almost everything. So here we are at the machine. I just turned it on, and if I touch the screen, this should calibrate the machine so that it's ready to be threaded. This is a single needle machine, so we're just going to thread one color at a time, and I'm going to start with black. So anyway, to start, I'm going to go through the thread tree at the top and just kind of follow the numbers. So it says 1 here, and then it says 2 here. Now once you thread it through the hole labeled 2, there's a little clamp right here that we're going to go underneath. So forgive me if I'm blocking the camera, but I'm just going to thread this underneath that little clamp, and then as we come down, we're going to wrap around our thread tension spool, and then there's another clamp right here that we're going to go underneath. So we'll come down the channel here, and where it says 4, we're going to wrap up and around, and then I'm going to thread this through the eye of the uptake hook right here. And as I pull that through, make sure the thread is straight, and then we're going to go right down. And as we get to the bottom, I will go through the hole labeled 6 right here, and then we can thread the needle. So you should be able to just pull your thread through the bottom where the needle is right here. And to thread this, we're going to hit the needle thread button on the bottom of the screen, and that's going to pop this out. So your machine should have come with a tool that looks like this, and we are going to use this to kind of guide the thread up and around the back of this hook here behind the needle. And then we just have to pull the needle from the right side underneath these little metal prongs and up and over this thread cutter right here. And then when I hit the needle threader button one more time, it will thread the needle just like that. So the top embroidery thread is loaded into the machine, and the bobbin case is in the arm of the machine right here. So I'm going to open this up and grab the bobbin casing like this. And Brother has these great pre-wound magnetic embroidery bobbin threads. So I'm going to put this so the magnet is on the inside. That will kind of snap onto place there. Now I want to hold the bobbin thread, and I'm going to feed it through this channel right here. And then I'm going to kind of feed it up, hopefully you can see that, through this little hook, and there's an eye that opens where the bobbin thread comes out. I usually leave a few inches of extra thread coming out. And then I will put this back in here like that and close the door, and that is ready to go. So this machine was that easy to thread. Now we just need to come up with a design to load in here and some fabric to embroider on. So this machine comes with tons of different graphics and fonts and text that you can do all within the interface itself here. I like to create my own graphics, so I just put a USB stick with my own embroidery designs, and I make all of those with PE Design 11. And I'm just going to load up one of my 2x2 inch Tock Custom logos. This has 2 colors, and this should be a pretty quick job. So that's the design I want. I'm going to hit set, and then if I want to scale it up bigger, or if I want to move it around at all, I could do that here. Then I'm going to hit OK and go to the embroidery screen. So before you start embroidering, this is what you'll see on the screen. I can see my design and a couple of things. It's got, 3,600 stitches. It should take about 5 minutes, and it's saying there's 2 different thread colors. It'll start with black, and then it'll go to red thread. So our design is all set. Now we need to get a hoop and some fabric in here. Now that we have our design, we need to mount our hoop onto the machine. So behind the needle here, there's these 2 mounting brackets right here. And that's what every single hoop is going to mount onto. And because our design is 2x2 inches, I'm going to be using our 2x2 inch magnetic hoop. So I'm just going to feed this back here, and we're going to mount this onto those 2 pins back there. Now I've got these 2 little screws so that we can lock this together. And I'm just going to use my little screwdriver here to tighten those screws so that this stays nice and tight. Now that we have this mounted, the machine knows there's a 2x2 inch hoop in here. And this is the part that connected, and we can kind of release the magnetic part from the harness so that we can load our fabric into this separately. So just for a test, I've got a little square of black denim here, and I'm just going to cut out a small sheet of stabilizer to go underneath it. Now I'm just going to pop up the top part of our magnet here, and I'm going to set down my layers of fabric and stabilizer. Now I'm just going to kind of hold these together and then simply just snap this right to our hoop, and this is all loaded in and ready to go. All right, so everything is loaded in and this machine is ready to go, but I wanted to point out one thing with the new 2-point positioning system here. So this should be the center point, which is where the laser crosshairs are. If that's where I want it, that's where it's gonna go, so that's great. But this has a really cool feature that if I hit this button, if my fabric is off skew just a little bit or something, it can account for that. So it'll load up my design, and when I hit next, it'll say, okay, line this up with a straight line on your fabric. And then when it asks me to do the second position, if it's over, say, just a little bit to the right or something like that, and I hit set, it's going to account for that angle, and I hope you can see that. So this can actually match up with the grain of your fabric or whatever design right in the hoop itself, so you don't have to re-hoop everything. So now that I've got everything the way I want it, I have this set to 1,000 stitches per minute. I can hit the lock button. When this turns green, I can press that, and then it should start up right away. All right, so that did a great job. Now we're gonna load in our second color, and I'll show you how to switch threads. Now for my secondary color, which is the satin stitch border, I'm gonna load in some gold thread here. So I'm just gonna load this in through the top of the tree, and I am going to use this little thread trimmer here to cut the black thread without unthreading it through the machine. So I've got this end here, and I'm just gonna do the little, loop around the finger knot thing. Just do a little swoop and tie that into a little knot. So these are now connected by a tiny little knot. Now from here, I've got our 2 threads connected at the top, and I'm gonna grab the thread that's coming out of the needle right here. So I'm just going to grab and pull this, and it should eventually start feeding it through right here. It's going under that clamp and around the tension wheel, down the second clamp. And I'm just gonna kind of watch the thread to make sure that it is going through all the parts. So it went down and up and through the eye of this thing, and now we are down at the eye of the needle. It won't always go through the eye of the needle, so what I usually do is pull out some of the gold from here, and I will cut that so this is all gold thread in here now. Now from here I can see I've got all gold thread, so I'm going to pull out my needle threader, and I'm going to loop this around those little metal pins. Cut my fabric with the thread cutter right there, and then hit the button one more time. So that is loaded in, and we can start the next part. And once you're all set up, you can hit the lock button again, hit the green button, and this will start to do our satin stitch. So this is the machine embroidering in real time at full speed, 1,000 stitches per minute. The machine is very heavy and sturdy, so nothing's wiggling around, but I'm really impressed by the speed and accuracy of this machine. All right, so that is all done. Let's pop this off and see how it looks. All right, so there's our test, and hopefully this helped you come up with your first embroidery, but for a design that's only 1.5 by 2 inches, this is very precise. I'm really impressed. All right, so our little test did great, and I wanted to show, this is a messenger bag I made a while ago, but this machine could absolutely handle this because it comes with this 9 by 14 inch hoop. So if you're doing messenger bags, quilt blocks, apparel, or even baseball hats, this machine's gonna be able to do all of that. All right, so we are all set. I know that was a short video, but I just wanted to show how easy it was to use the Brother PR1X. Big thanks again to Brother for sending me this machine. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.